This week, we have one that we found at random that we're going to talk about.
Yes. It's a fun little indie deal that we found on our favorite streaming service, Tubi.
The holy grail of independent films and
real.
B-movies.
For real.
I mean, I can't think of anything that's going to beat it.
Yeah. We talked about a lot of really good lessons.
Mm-hmm. We also at some point, so we should probably preface, because it's mentioned in the episode, but we really did enjoy this movie.
Oh, yeah, because we do kind of shit on it a lot in the beginning of the episode.
And to be fair, I think that just comes from, I mean, let's be honest, all right? Even like the grand masters, like Halloween, Friday the 13th, Freddy Krueger, First Nightmare on Elm Street, and all of the subsequent films that follow those franchises and some other big ones, there is a ton of shit you can pick apart.
This is true.
I don't care how many hundreds of millions of dollars you have in a budget and what, God among directors you have. There's always stuff to pick, especially in horror. So we do. And, but we really did enjoy, I mean, this is a fun movie. And, again, a little bit of a spoiler. We do highly recommend watching it for fun, watching it for some lessons, some examples of, hey, that's really well done. I would like to do that.
Yeah. And I mean, even some of your favorite movies, like in some of my favorite movies, there are definitely instances where it's like, okay, where we make fun of stuff.
Like Star Wars, I can pick that apart. I love that till, and I will to the day I die.
Mm-hmm.
But I can pick it apart. Alien. I mean, Riff Tracks picked apart Alien.
Oh, like in a stellar way.
Yeah.
And they love it.
Yeah. Every movie has its thing. So we do realize that midway through the episode, going through the movie, that, by the way, we really did enjoy it. It is a great film. Everyone did a really great job on their respective parts, everything from on screen to behind screen. And a lot of really good lessons on where to spend your money and how to get the performances, as a director. And, as an actor, lean into it.
Yeah. I mean, I also think that this movie is a really phenomenal example of an indie horror that is less of a scare fest and more of like a cerebral kind of think fest.
Yeah. Yeah. And we kind of talk about that a little bit, but it is a wonderful ride.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what is typically referred to as grounded horror.
Sure.
And grounded sci-fi, because it is a horror sci-fi
right.
horror, depending on where you look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Without further ado.
Yeah, let's get into this.
Yeah,
Boom.
Let's do it. Hey there, B-Siders. Welcome to another episode of Bravo for the B-Side. This is Danny.
No trope?
No, I'm getting exhausted by that.
Okay. Well, and this is Jim. It's still plain just Jim.
I'm not just Danny, by the way.
Oh, okay.
I'm Danny.
Sure.
I'm so much more than a name.
Well, I mean, yeah, there is that.
Yeah.
But to the ears of the people out there, the voice is associated with, a name.
Sure.
That's all.
Which is Danny. in case you missed it.
Okay, then.
Well, yeah.
Boom, boom, boom. Crazy week this week.
It has been, I mean, frankly, a pretty awful week.
Well,
without getting into details.
Yeah.
It's been really shitty.
Yeah. This is almost a full week late sitting down to do this.
Right. I mean, you won't be hearing it late, but we are recording it late.
Right. Which means we got a quick double up. And yeah, everything is just out of whack. But that's why we do things 2 weeks. So we have time to catch up. You know, it's kind of nice. But? Well, I mean, there's not a lot going on.
No, we've been pretty wrapped up in our own personal junk this week. So even if there were stuff going on, I have no idea what it is. Right. Sorry, world. I'm not in touch with you right now.
Yeah, had to, face a different direction for a while.
Yeah.
But there is something I do want to talk about.
Okay.
And it's a movie. Not the movie we're talking about tonight.
Oh, no.
This is just a movie that I feel has to be mentioned.
I don't think it does.
I do. Well, you don't know which one it is, do you?
I have. Well, there were a bunch of real bad ones this week.
There
was.
Watched
for comfort reasons.
There's one that I want to talk about because it's not the Leprechaun one.
It's the other one.
Halloween Party.
Yeah, the vagina spiders one.
Yeah. So let's talk about Halloween Party for a second. I just want to bring this up because it has been such a long time since I have sat through a super boring horror movie. I mean, clinically boring.
Wildly boring.
Right. This isn't even an opinion. This is a diagnosis.
Yeah.
Boring. Oh my word. Now, having said that, all the technical aspects were really good.
Yeah,
right?
I think it was a genuine, earnest effort, this movie. But real bad.
It's one of those examples where I think someone who wants to write their stuff and then film it, as the director, would do well in letting other people read it and go at it with a pen.
Sure.
Because
otherwise you get stuff like vagina spiders.
Right? And that might have been meant to be a little like cute.
Yeah.
But the way it was delivered, just the whole thing. Technically this movie was good. It was really good, film work. It was really good, like color correction. Everything was super on point. I mean, this thing could have been at a festival, but I think a festival screening committee would have been like, oh my God, no, we can't do this to everybody. It's so boring. Oh my word. However, I want to bring this up, not to just criticize it for being boring, which it is, and I kind of am. But folks, if you know somebody who wants to get into horror films, but they're like, they get real worked up, here you go. This is your gateway horror film.
Because it's not scary at all.
It's so
It has
boring.
2 kind of poorly done jump scares in it.
Right. And we talked about it. We even explained it to our daughter. It's almost as if, even for like the jump scares, instead of like, blah, it's if you can imagine a jump scare going something like this, someone walking up directly in the person's line of sight, tapping them on the shoulder, tap, tap, tap. Excuse me, I am going to scare you now. Boo.
Booga booga.
Yeah. And that's it. Cause that's kind of what you get, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, if you really want someone to jump in the horror bandwagon with you, here's what you do. You get them to watch this. They're going to be like, oh, Jesus Christ, I didn't think horror was so boring. I mean, if something's a little more exciting, I can handle this. And then you do like deep dive into Friday the 13th or something, just totally fuck their world up. They're expecting this really mundane, boring, not even making sense kind of conversation thing to just full raw blood and guts.
Yeah.
I would have fun doing that.
Sure. I get that. I get it.
Well, that's what makes, if you think of the old carnival rides and stuff, they used to, not have everything out in the open, like the haunted house rides and stuff. They make it seem kind of like, oh, this is all right. This will, fine. We'll go through on this thing. And then they really try and scare you and shit inside. You never, you always hold, close to your vest, that whole thing, play your cards close to your chest or your vest or whatever. And,
assuming you're wearing a vest.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, I just had to get it off my chest. Not my vest.
You had to get it off your vest.
Don't make me get a vest. I don't want to take time to go.
Good in a vest.
I like wearing them, but they're just not super practical all the time.
Yeah, I get it.
The stuff, Anyway,
someone gave me one of those like puffy vests as a Christmas present one time.
Oh, the Coast Guard puffy.
Yeah, vest it was like a down, down filled whatever. It was awful.
I call them Coast Guard vests because they look like big lifesaver jackets.
They look so dumb.
Well, I mean, they work for, I guess, whatever they're for.
No, they don't work. Because if they're supposed to keep you warm, my arms, my appendages are the pieces that need the warms. And it doesn't do anything for them.
Well, then on more than one level, wrong piece of attire.
Yeah.
Selected. I get it.
Yeah. Well.
Now.
We watched a pretty cool movie for this episode.
Yeah. And interestingly enough, like the other ones, it's just something we found.
Yeah.
Hadn't seen before and watched the trailer and thought, all right, this looks like it has some stuff.
It also had a really cool cover.
It did.
Yeah.
It did. So it sold us and it delivered. You can say that up front.
Was it perfect? No.
No, and those are some things that we will get into.
But I mean, very rarely is there a perfect movie. But, overall, pretty good. Pretty good.
We were not disappointed.
No.
Which is funny because after this, everything else was just terrible. Not just the boring movie, but there was some that was just they're truly horrendous.
We were, though, this week we were purposefully seeking out really bad movies because that's our junk food.
Well, but the thing is we were looking for, we didn't pick things that look like a paper mache head, right? Or some doctored up kid's pinata.
Right.
Right. We weren't looking for down in the nitty gritty gutter.
Right.
Bad. We're just looking for something like this that is, not going to have cinema level budget. So there's going to be some stuff. It's not going to be super serious or cerebral.
Right. Something that just doesn't require a lot out of you, the viewer.
Right. This one was a little above the line on all that.
Yeah.
But everything else, oh man.
It was bad. All those movies.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey.
So you're gonna, well, I'm going to introduce it.
Yeah. I was going to say, do you want to tell us about this movie?
I do. So, this week, folks, we are going to dive into The Mind's Eye. It was done in 2015. Director was Joe Begos. Writer, Joe Begos. And it's a G. This isn't Jeff Bezos. I don't want to get that confused with people.
Yeah.
Because, people doing stuff while they're listening. They're like, oh, Jeff Bezos made a movie. No, please God, no.
Joe Begos.
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 I think it's Begos. Maybe Begos.
Begos.
I don't know. You got to put the stuff on the letters. Starring Graham Skipper, Lauren Ashley Carter, John Sparadakos. It was not rated, but it has a TV MA rating.
Yeah, because I think it was a made-for-TV kind of deal.
Right. The logline for this is 2 psychokinetic individuals are imprisoned by a deranged doctor who will stop at nothing to attain their powers. Can they escape his twisted trap? Just want to say,
yeah,
that's fairly accurate.
Yeah, I would agree.
The last bit, though, just as a hint, lesson number 1, folks. Never, under any circumstances, in your plot summary, your log line, your one line, any of it, never insert a question, and certainly never end with a question.
Yeah, it's just a really weird thing to do.
It is. There's no producer out there who will enjoy that. That's the across the board. And we've talked to a lot of people and heard a lot of preferences for pitches and stuff, this is like the one of the 3 universal things you never do. Don't ask questions.
Right.
Right. Because they're not here to do a quiz show. I mean, that's kind of like what we've been told,
Right.
We've had one person, I'm not on a fucking quiz show. I just want the information right here.
Yes.
Tell me. Don't ask me. Because that right away sours them.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like, okay, wait, you expect me to do some work here?
Right.
I'm not about that. No, thank you.
I would have rephrased that. If you had to have that last sentence in there, like you couldn't sleep at night. Because I need that last sentence in there about the trap. So the deranged doctor who will stop at nothing to attain their powers. Together, they must try to escape his trap, his twisted trap. Right. Make it as a statement, and that actually excites the mind more. Just saying it like that makes me feel like,
let's see this journey.
But, can they escape his twisted trap? That's like 1930s Circus Barker stuff.
It is weird, isn't it? So before I bring us into this movie,
sure,
I want to give listeners the definition of psychokinesis.
Okay.
According to Google.
Sure.
And this is the definition, literally from Oxford Languages, put in a Google search. The supposed ability to move objects by mental effort alone.
Yeah. Could the people at Oxford be any less patronizing?
It is pretty patronizing.
I would like to know how many words, as their definition, are supposedly something. That's
hilarious.
That's a whole different podcast.
Even the Wikipedia article about psychokinesis is the alleged ability.
Right. I hate that. They're not talking about the theory of it or the practice of it. Psychokinesis.
They're like, we just want you to know this is imaginary.
Is the ability to move things with your mind.
Right. It is the name for that ability, which is, an alleged ability. But it's not you know what I mean? It's
an ability. See, when you say an alleged ability, it's one of those things. It's a word. It exists. So right. It's a fact. It's a thing that they have. Now, you can go on to say that someone allegedly has the ability. Right. Or it's an ability that does this. It's an ability that allows you to move things with your mind. And if you need to fucking footnote it, which it's a definition.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're going into like an encyclopedic thing, then you can say there have been no confirmed cases of this actually having happened. I get that. Right. But that's like saying anal warts, the supposed. I'm pretty sure there's somebody out there with an itchy asshole. It's like, there's nothing supposed about it, friend.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway.
I don't know. Fucking patronizing Oxford jerks.
The feet snobs.
Right? Jeez.
Well, why don't you start to tell us about this alleged movie?
This alleged movie. Okay. I like it. Well, we start out with a little blurb on the screen. Super. That is explaining, I didn't write it all down, but essentially that in the 90s, like there's more cases of psychokinesis and stuff.
Oh, can I jump in before that? Because before that even came up, there was a super that says this film should be played loud.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. And they risked turning me off on this movie before it even fucking started.
That's true.
I just want to say,
don't tell me how to control my volume.
Right. I don't like that shit.
Mm-hmm.
I that's why we don't like going to movie theaters for certain movies. Let me decide.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, if you're in the theater, I understand loud, but they overdo it a lot.
I know what my ears can handle.
Well, and I know what I want to deal with.
Right.
Right. And I kind of, it soured me a little bit because I thought, oh, is this one of those that's going to have so many fucking sound problems? they're playing it off as this film should be played loud. And then, in parentheticals, we don't get to see because you can't otherwise fucking hear them. But that wasn't the case.
It wasn't. And I wouldn't have wanted to play this loud because there was a whole lot of sci-fi effect sounds.
Yeah, we get into some of that.
They don't improve with volume.
No.
They don't scale up.
No. Okay, I'm sorry. Let us continue because I also did not get the
Yeah, it was like
details.
There are more cases in the 90s.
The military wanted to help refine them.
Oh, sure.
Refine their skills. That was kind of the hint they gave us.
It doesn't matter. We didn't need that super anyway.
No.
And then we see a guy walking for a really long time. He's just walking and walking and walking and walking and walking.
He is.
And then we see that it's November 1990 because we get that other super coming up. And a cop is stopping and starting to badger the walking guy, which is not very nice. He was literally just walking and the cop just pulled up and was like, "Hey, what are you doing?"
Yeah. Reminded me of First Blood with Sylvester Stallone. That was the first movie. That was when we met John Rambo.
Right.
And it's the same thing. He's just this dude walking in his old Vietnam War jacket. He's a veteran. And he's just shuffling along a highway and some podunk sheriff pulls up next to him and immediately just starts fucking with him. Right?
Yeah.
Hassling him. We don't like drifters here. Where are you going? Well, none of your motherfucking business.
Right?
Big hat.
Come on. So the walking guy starts to get antsy. And the cop starts really badgering him. He gets out and he's like, "We're just being a real jerk."
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, the cop car windows explode as this guy starts looking like he's got to have poop.
Yeah.
Hey. Are you okay?
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, that's exactly what it looks like.
Have you witnessed someone using psychokinesis?
No, I'm just thinking of all the movies I'm going to reference.
Oh, sure.
In conjunction with this film.
Yeah. It's not the most attractive looking power to use in a movie.
No, he looks like, he hasn't passed a bowel movement in probably 8 or 9 days.
And here comes the big one.
And it was now or never.
Right.
Right. He was just diving into it. I'm either going to burst this out or I'm going to die trying.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to do mind powers without looking a little weird. That's I think the biggest criticism is that.
And it's not just the fault of this movie, but I think maybe we as a collective creative body in filmmaking can form a committee and think about and decide upon something less like someone's taking a poop to display mind powers.
I think we can look into that.
Yeah. And I mean, the committee can put forth ideas and vote on it. And then, we'll come out with something better, hopefully.
Sure.
Anyway.
Yep. Moving on.
So he also starts throwing the cops around with his mind. And then we're at the station. And apparently they managed to subdue him somehow. Because there's a cop talking to some other guy about walking dude in the interrogation room. And walking dude has a bag over his head. And we learn his name is Zack.
Yep.
And this new guy that we saw talking to the cop is Dr. Michael Slovak. And he goes in and he starts talking to Zack. And he says that he has a drug that's going to subdue Zack's abilities.
Mm-hmm.
So he gives him this drug. And it's not a permanent thing. He's just for a little while.
Right, for a few hours.
Right. And he says, actually, some people with your abilities really like this because it takes a lot of pressure off of them.
It takes the edge off.
Right. You don't have to worry about fucking people up with your head.
Right.
So he takes the bag off after he drugs him up. And Zack immediately looks at him and makes this poop face. and his powers are not working. And so we learn that this doctor knows a friend of Zack's named Rachel, and he has her in his institute.
Yes.
And it's really funny. He's like, she's doing really well with us. And he pulls out 2 pictures that I guess are supposed to be before and after pictures.
Yeah.
And they're both of her in the same outfit in the same location. And in one, she's frowning. And in the other one, she's smiling.
Yep.
And Zack's like, she looks really good. But okay.
Yeah.
So then we get this kind of montage-y series of video interviews with both Zack and Rachel in this institute, where it's clear that like Zack was brought there on the promise that he would get to see her, and she's aware that Zack is there, but they're not letting them see each other.
Right. And they go way back.
Right.
Some Chicago incident thing. But one thing I noted is Dr. Slovak is being like really bossy.
Yes.
Almost like, bossy bitch about things, which for me at this point immediately shifted me from, this is a guy who's got something going, to he's just a dick. And he clearly is up to something.
Well, yeah, they're forcing them to use their powers, and they're like doing experiments, regarding their powers. And it all smells real fishy.
Yeah.
Right? If not outright, like, sinister. Yeah. Whatever is going on here. So now we're in February 1991. So Zack has been here a while. Right? A couple months. He's playing chess with a guy.
Yeah, I refer to him as chess dude.
Right. And he keeps losing at chess.
Well, you get the sense they tried to make it look like his mind's not on the game.
Sure.
Which is kind of, I laughed at myself, or in my head when I was thinking that, watching this. Oh, clearly his mind's not on the game. It's a telekinetic thing.
I adore you.
Anyway, I don't know if that's what they were going for, but if they were, nailed it.
Yeah. And Zack has decided that he's going to find Rachel and he's going to get her out of here. And he confides in Chess Buddy that he is developing a tolerance to the drug that subdues their powers.
Oh, yeah.
Shh. Shh. And then he goes and talks to Slovak, and this talk doesn't go very well.
No.
Because he just goes up and he's like, you need to let me and Rachel out of here. And Slovak's like, nah. And Zack's like, but yeah, you do. And Slovak's like, for real though, no, not gonna happen.
Yeah.
And it ends with Zack getting knocked out with some drugs and getting put on lockdown.
Right. Well, yeah, guard comes in and takes him away. The one thing about that was after they leave, Slovak uses his intercom and says to prepare his evening injection.
Right.
And I was like, what's going on this? So then we have Rachel, who's wearing a hood, being taken to her room, and and there's all this wrestling and shit, right? And she's forced down on the bed, and they're holding her down. They take this giant ass needle. I mean, this is like a 50 fucking gauge.
It's a big needle,
right?
Yeah.
It looks like the stinger off of a bad sci-fi stinger monster. Mm-hmm. Shit. This isn't like, oh, put a Band-Aid on it. It's like, get a fucking chest compression thing or some sort of stop bleed or something. Right? This is going to take her out.
It's like a spinal tap.
Oh my God. It's a comically large needle.
Yeah.
Let's just say that. And they start extracting something. We're not privy to it because it seems to be irrelevant at the moment.
It's like spinal fluid of some kind.
Yeah. And then we cut to Slovak talking to some dude with an eye
patch guy.
Yeah. I call him One Eye.
Oh.
You call him Eye Patch Guy?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll go with Eye Patch Guy.
That doesn't matter.
Well, I wasn't sure the patch was going to be on the whole time.
He's not important.
Well, anyway. So Cyclops.
Yeah, I like that.
In his office. And they're talking, Slovak's found some other guy that Cyclops is supposed to go chase down to bring to the Institute. And apparently Cyclops is the first psychokinetic. I just started calling him PK. Because that's a fucked up word to try and type fast.
I think I just gave up on typing the words. I didn't even like.
Oh, up until this point, I kept doing psychokinetic, psychokinesis. Now it's just PK. So anyway, Cyclops is the first PK to be let on the team, apparently. And then Slovak gets his injection. Only this is a different color serum. This one's blue. The other one's green, right?
No.
Or was red?
They're the same color.
No. I noticed his was different.
Oh, okay.
Okay. The other one is red. Read my notes. It's in there. And these injections are made at the base of the skull. And I'm thinking, shit, that looks gnarly. I mean, he looks like he's got gangrene going on.
Yeah.
And these needles are not short needles either. And they're not the like gun kind.
No, they're pretty big.
Right. I mean, if it had another inch, it'd be a fucking dagger. And they're sticking this into the base of the...
And his neck looks like it's massively bruised up and real messed up.
Oh, yeah, it's super like infected and everything.
Yeah.
I just want to mention, though, this whole scene with Cyclops talking about this guy that he's got to go chase down and stuff. Here's the thing. After this, not a fucking word.
Nope.
Spoilers. That has absolutely nothing to do with anything. I thought, there's going to be like there's another spice to put in the bowl later on.
Nope.
What's going to happen? Nope. That had nothing other than to introduce that Cyclops was a PK. So after the cannon-sized needle is shoved into Rachel, she ends up struggling with her guard and nurse, and all of it makes her hood come off. And she makes the nurse stab herself in the neck. Right.
Right.
And then she makes the needle fly into her hand, and she jabs the guard. Now. And my thought is this stuff, whatever she's got, is it supposed to be bad for normal people? Because there's a couple of things that went on. First of all, a regular hypodermic needle just doesn't do that much damage.
Yeah, this is like full on blood spurts.
Yeah, this is the one that you were like, what? She stabs the guard in the leg, and it's like someone just ripped it ripped the artery out.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, man.
It's bonkers. Like, I love some blood. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you don't need to excuse it. You just need to have it. But I
love a good blood spurt, in a movie.
But make it happen somewhat close to reality,
kind of believably.
Like even a kitchen steak knife.
Yeah.
I'd believe. But a hypodermic needle, you're just like, is this guy have some sort of disorder where he's like just this giant blood pustule and any break is just
the world's highest blood pressure?
Seriously.
He's like,
wow.
Oh.
Anyway, Slovak ends up coming in, taking over, injects Rachel. So he's top dog again.
He's also very like tetchy with her and icky.
It is. So he's inappropriate in 1,000 different ways.
Yes.
999 of them, you just let go because it's a horror movie, right? But that one way, that touching, the doctor touching the patient is like, you know what? All those other 999 don't even add up to this one.
Yeah. It's just,
it is just nasty.
Icky.
Anyway, Zack wakes up in his room, cuffed to his bed. Tries using his powers. There's lots of yelling, but nothing's going on. He's wearing a hood. And then the guard and nurse come to his room. So I'm thinking, wow, quick recovery. And interestingly enough, Zack uses his powers to split the hood.
Yeah, he explodes the bag on his head.
Yeah, and then the straps and stuff. So as he's free, the door opens, he attacks the guard, and then asks the nurse where Rachel is and leaves. So I had to question at this point, well, why isn't everyone else ripping these bags open?
Yeah.
Now, I suppose if they're shot up with the stuff, they can't do anything. But if they're not shot up with the stuff, right? Yeah. So it was interesting. So he leaves to go get Rachel. He picks up Chess Dude, who's just like hanging out in the house. Like, will somebody play with me?
Chess buddy.
Somebody play with me, please. A guard comes in drawing a gun. Zack makes the guard shoot himself in the foot. I thought, that's pretty cool. I can get that. And then suddenly they're at Slovak's house. Zack knocks Slovak down with a chair using PK. Chess Dude goes downstairs. Now, this is what I didn't understand. There's no clear plan here.
Nope.
But everyone's like owning what they're doing. And I thought, that's cool, but where's the coordination? And then all of a sudden, here's the big moment. Slovak uses PK on Zack.
Yeah, he moves a table.
Yeah, not just moves a table. That sumbitch goes flying.
Yeah.
Like the table itself was alive and had a hatred of Zack. There it went. So now Slovak is stealing their powers.
He seems really delighted with himself when he does this.
Out comes a gun. Rachel pulls a gun on Slovak. Guards are coming. She tries to shoot him, and then Zack makes her miss because there's a lot of conversation that we're not going to get into because it's just a whole lot of extra time.
It don't matter.
Taking notes. Anyway, push comes to shove. They're on the run.
But the goons got Chess Boy.
They did. They got Chess Boy, Chess Dude. On the run, Zack uses PK to spin a guard's head around.
The way.
Yeah, this is the first time we've seen this kind of thing. But then he drops to the ground from the exertion. And then Rachel ends up carjacking some poor guy driving by. And then we get this little bit drive. Rachel's confirming Slovak trying to steal all these people's powers for himself. And then there you go.
Yeah. So then we have Slovak giving kind of like a briefing to his team, which includes Eye Patch Dude, Cyclops. And he is sending them to Zack's last known address before he went missing, like years before.
Mm-hmm.
To which I was like, I mean, if that's the address he went missing from, that's not the first place I would send people. Just as a general rule.
Right.
But I guess if you have no idea where to go, that's a place to start.
I suppose, yeah.
So then we have Zack and Rachel are at a house somewhere in Connecticut because they passed a Connecticut sign.
Yeah.
And it turns out to be his parents' house, which I'm like, if you're on the run, this is like the absolute worst place you can go.
Yeah.
No one is there. So then they're just kind of like sleeping on the couch, and a car pulls up and the lights through the window wake up Rachel, and it's Zack's dad, who is like shocked to see him.
Right.
Immediately hugs him. So I like Dad at this point. Apparently Zack didn't run away from home
because of Dad.
Right.
Right.
And they're aware that Slovak is going to find them there really quickly. But Dad is going to help him out. Right. Yeah. They can stay there. He's going to find them a new car that isn't stolen. Because she carjacked that guy.
Yeah, and everyone's looking for it.
Right. And then at Slovak's house, a cop comes into his house. I think he's supposed to be a cop. I don't really know.
I think he's a retired cop.
Okay.
Because he has friends at the station.
Yeah. And he lets Slovak know that Zack's dad, who also has a friend in the police, called and was asking questions. So Slovak's like, okay, I'm going to send my goons over there. But that's like the place that he was already sending them to.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. Then we're with Zack and Rachel, who have like a heart-to-heart about Zack's dead mom.
Yeah.
He accidentally killed her with his powers. It's very like trope sad, but
Yeah, it was out of control.
Yeah. And then I love this bit. We get Slovak just monologuing his whole master plan to one of his goons.
As he's getting an injection.
Yeah. And his whole deal is that he wants their powers. Like, that's it. It's pretty simple.
Yeah. Can I just add this?
Mm-hmm.
So this is going on in between scenes of a montage of Zack and Rachael fucking.
Yes.
This is the weirdest combination of shit I have seen, because first we're talking about dead mom. Next thing you know, she's all hot and bothered and mounting him. Right? Like your dead mother's story just has me dripping. Oh my fucking God. And aside from the fact that every little bit of these sex scenes is so awkward to watch because it's so awkward, period.
Yeah.
I mean,
neither of them looks very comfortable about it. Okay, I want to take a quick break.
Okay.
Let's take a quick break. We are really tearing this movie apart, but I actually really like this movie a lot.
Yes.
So I don't want anyone to think that because of how we're shredding this movie that we don't like it, because I do actually like it, and not in an ironic way.
No,
I genuinely enjoyed watching this movie.
We mentioned at the beginning. It's above the bar.
Yeah,
clearly, and we have a fairly, not super high bar, but we have a high enough bar where, like, Halloween Party, not even close. That fucking Leprechaun disaster. Leprechaun's game. So Jesus Christ, that on every level failed.
Mm-hmm.
Right, in terms of, you want lessons, watch that movie. Everything that happened, don't fucking do it. Do the opposite. Bam. Oscar.
Love it.
You'll have an Oscar.
Love it.
But yeah, it is a good movie, but as with all movies,
as I'm listening to us talk about it,
there's a thing here and there. This was just so weird.
Yeah. So
the way it was done,
cutting between this really awkward sex and Slovak monologuing, and then Slovak's disgusting neck back.
Right. And then next thing you know, Rachel's on all fours and Zack is, grinding her he's trying to push a semi uphill. And then we get fucking Slovak with his drippy, gooey neck.
And behind all of this,
pontificating on how he's going to rule the fucking world as the sole PK.
A super psychokinetic or something.
Right.
And behind all of this, there is this totally 90s soundtrack going on. And I love it.
Yes.
Oh, I love it so much. This is a period piece. This movie was done in 2015, and it's a 90s period piece, and it's actually pretty on point.
It hit dead on 90s cinema, low budget cinema music, scoring. I mean, they nailed it.
Yeah, absolutely nailed it.
Which kind of adds to the weirdness of, I'm going to make sure that all of mankind bows to my.
I mean, yeah, it feels very much.
Are we watching fucking or the Gettysburg Address? But can you pick one?
Yeah.
And lead into the other?
Feels very much like a 90s movie.
Yep. I think this is. Maybe it's homage to the stupidity of montages back then.
I think it is.
Because back then in the 90s, even in the 80s, either unless it was a montage of just time skipping, we're rebuilding the restaurant, or I'm sewing my new dance clothes and that's going to make me a fucking superstar. When they would take more than one event and montage them, it was such a bad job. And it was like, you got Granny knitting.
90s montages were always really jarring.
And then you got Sasquatch ripping the limbs off of campers. And then you got Granny knit one pearl too. And then you got, Sasquatch splitting a dog in half. Like I said before, can we pick one and lead into the other?
No.
Because this checkerboard pattern.
You need to experience them both simultaneously.
I don't want to.
This is where you just Brady Bunch the screen, and in every box, there's something completely different going on.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yes.
Anyway, I think we've established we're good with this movie.
Yeah.
Let's keep talking about the movie so we can get to, we can actually talk good stuff about it at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you tell us what Slovak's latest shot did to him?
Well, let's see. That comes later.
No, it messed him up. Like he's got red eyes and crazy.
Yeah, but in between his Lincoln address and the two of these two fucking, the bad guys show up at Dad's. There's a whole bunch of stuff that goes on.
No, this is before the bad guy show. Like it's just a short thing. He's not super duper messed up yet, but he's got like he looks like he just popped like 16 Viagra and is like looking for something to pound. Is the face that he has.
Oh, well, his face. Yeah, I thought you were talking about the actual things. Okay. So I just want to say the actor who plays Slovak,
love him,
did the most fantastic, because Slovak as written, right, is one of the cheesiest fucking, he's like, imagine the most over the top Bond villain. That's Slovak.
He's Dr. Evil.
He is. And what makes it funny is he's just such a nobody, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you get the sense that he's not this world-renowned doctor. He doesn't have all this stuff. What he has is a farm with a couple buildings, right? And he's doing all this shit out of everybody's, he calls it an institute and stuff. And he just has all these grandiose plans.
Yeah.
Of all this shit going on. You know, he wants to.
It boils down to basically he wants psychokinetic powers.
Yeah. So anyway, it's the face I expected.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's just like, and if you were in the room, you'd be like, please don't look at me that way.
Yes.
I don't want to be the recipient of what's causing that look.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh God. So yeah. After that, then the guard and Cyclops arrive at the house, right? And Dad answers, they force their way in. Cyclops is, running around. The guard's beating on Dad. Zack comes running down, makes the guard put the gun under his chin. Cyclops hits Zack with a flower pot. There's just a lot of great, a lot of back and forth stuff going on, typical stuff. But I did note that there are some great blood effects.
Yeah.
As the guard is beating and pounding on Dad and cutting him with stuff, it's legit.
Oh yeah.
These effects.
It's really good.
It's practical effects and they are top notch. I got, so bam. And then we learned Dad has PK power too.
Dun, dun, dun.
So he tries to kill the guard, but then Cyclops blows his brains out.
Yeah. Sorry, Dad.
And then, convinced, for some reason, Zack is out of the picture. He goes up hunting for Rachel.
Mm-hmm.
Zack, of course, breaks free, heads upstairs. Cyclops finds Rachel, charges in. Then there's a big conflict. Zack gets there just in time. We've got struggles between Zack, Cyclops, the guard, and Rachel. And then, one's on one, one's on the other. Just kind of, like wild dogs.
Yeah.
Right? Rachel gets shot in the leg. Zack gets stabbed in the leg. Shoots Cyclops in the shoulder. Rachel uses PK on the guard, lifts him into the air, and makes his head explode. This was the most severe PK effect yet.
Yes.
And that was fucking fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
The editing, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if you look at it with a razor sharp eye, obviously you can see where the cut was made.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. But when you're watching it for fun, if you're just in this for entertainment value, it was fucking fantastic. It was
really fun.
Solid. Pimple pop.
You just having a head explode in a movie is one of the most fun things you can do.
Oh, absolutely. Let's see. Then we cut back to Slovak, and this is what I was talking about. His neck is super fucked up. The veins on his face are black.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And they're coming from the back of the neck, reaching out like tendrily fingers just past the ears,
his face,
midway through the cheeks at this point. So we're getting the sense that it's growing. Right?
It's like the practical here is really good. He looks super gnarly.
It's cool.
Yeah. And his voice has like this weird echo to it.
Yeah, that was the other thing. He's talking like he's like full of demons.
Yeah.
It's this really echoey kind of thing. He uses PK to kill his informant cop dude.
For like no reason.
Right. No. He's got all the shit now. He's just
drunk with power.
Yeah. He's just fucking spinning out of control. Chess dude is causing some issues in the holding room.
Yep.
Yeah. You want to wrap it up from there?
Sure. So, yeah. Chess Boy is up to something, so Slovak goes to investigate. And then Zack wakes up in the bathroom at his dad's house, and he goes out to find Rachel on the floor, dead? And I was like, I guess. She's laying there. Whatever she did to the goon guy.
I certainly thought so, because I even said, man, that was a whole lot of shit for nothing.
Cyclops is gone. And again, like the music, the lighting, everything here is totally 90s. I love it. So Zack gets on the phone and reports a homicide. And then he says one victim is barely alive. So I was like, oh, I guess she isn't dead.
Right.
Good. And he gets in the car and he is furious. And we know because he is making the I almost have to poop face.
Right. It's not, it's similar.
It is similar, yes. It's in the same class.
Yes. But it's not not that particular thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a clear delineation.
Yeah. So Chess Boy apparently just wanted Slovak's attention, which he got, because Slovak goes down and he gives another monologue to Chess Boy. And I'm like, boy, Slovak really likes his monologues. He sure does. There was no reason for him to give all of this exposition to Chess Boy. But it's okay, because I loved it. And then they fight with a bed frame. They're like pushing it between each other.
Right.
With their minds.
Yeah.
And Slovak eventually pins Chess Boy to the wall with it. And then, this is pretty good. And I really like the effects here. He uses his powers to rip Chess Boy in half.
Yes. Not like a chest burster scene.
No.
Not, like a head popping scene. He fucking chainsaw to a side of beef.
Yeah.
Real.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Oh, it's so fun. I love stuff like that. Then we have Zack. He's using a payphone to make sure whether Rachel's still alive. Did the cops get there and get her?
Yeah.
Yep, she is. He found her in a hospital somewhere. And also, there's a sign in the background in this scene for Marlboros at $1.94 a pack.
Are you guys, do you want to do
ahead.
it?
No, you do it.
Well, okay. So the reason this comes up is because we're watching this. And here's the thing about this. I had completely forgotten it's a period piece, that we're in the 90s, or we're in 1991 at this point, right? Which says a lot about this movie.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, when you think about it, it's 90s all the way through. They didn't fuck that up.
No.
But here's the thing with period pieces. Sometimes you just can't get away from the fact that it's 1991.
Right.
And the story and everything, all the other shit suffers. This one, they establish it, you bought it, but then it just becomes, it doesn't matter. You're so engrossed in what's going on, right? So I'm looking at this, I'm like, where the fuck did they shoot this? In what state are Marlboros $1.49? And then...
Yeah. 90s throwback.
Well, no, what did you say to me?
Oh, I was just thinking the same thing. That's amazing.
No, you reminded me.
Oh, I did.
You're like, honey.
That's 1990.
This is 1991. Oh.
Well, because when I saw it, I was like, oh my God, $1.94 a pack. And then I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah. 90s. And I mean, that's, credit to the movie, but it's also two smokers who are very aware that every pack of cigarettes, is like 4 fucking crack purchases, right? You can get crack on the street for less than a fucking cigarettes. So all this terrible shit going on. All this blood, all this mayhem.
$1.94.
We're like, look at the price of those fucking cigarettes. is this in New Jersey? Because I will make a fucking trip and buy a truckload.
Yeah.
And bring them back.
So, anyway. Meanwhile, Eye Patch made it, or Cyclops, I'm sorry, it's just because it says Eye Patch in here. He made it back to Slovak. And there's a radio call in that there's someone at the gate. And it is Zack. And I'm like, wow, he got there really fast. Eye Patch just got there.
Right.
Like a minute ago.
Yeah.
Crazy. Zack must have been just fucking speed demoning.
Well, you kind of get the sense that maybe Eye Patch Cyclops was
time.
Well, yeah, it was like
what's
done is done, and all right, asshole's gone. I got this, and
yeah,
I'm just Whereas Zack is a man with purpose.
Cyclops is also reporting to Slovak that Zack is dead.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And just as he's telling Slovak that there's a call and it's Zack, and Slovak's like, oh, really? So the gate guard gets...
I thought you were dead.
The gate guard just real quick gets a double tap from Zack. Because Zack is not wasting any time.
No.
Takes care of this clown really quick. And then he marches right up to the house. Again, no plan. Zack is just flying by the seat of his pants. And Slovak sees him on the cameras, which he has like conveniently everywhere, I guess. And he sends his goons out. And in the guardhouse, Zack is like, it's weird because we see him marching up to the house.
Right.
And then Slovak sends the goons out, and then Zack is like taking cover in the guardhouse, which he just walked away from. Maybe that's a little continuity error.
Maybe.
Or he saw them coming and was like, oh, better hunker down.
Ope.
Ope. Are you okay?
Yeah, you actually just clearly and definitively oped a situation.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, man.
So, in the guardhouse, Zack is facing off with one of them. He blows the guy's leg off with a shotgun. Also very cool effect.
Stellar.
Yeah, really great. And then Cyclops volunteers to go get Zack. And I'm like, yeah, you should, buddy, because you just said you killed him. Inside the house, Slovak is demanding another injection. While Zack and Cyclops are dueling. And eventually Zack gets Cyclops with one of the one of the drug injection things.
Right.
That stops their powers, and then beheads him with an axe.
Yeah.
Again.
Using PK.
Awesome.
Yep.
So then Slovak gives himself a new injection.
Yeah.
And apparently this one's got a lot of kick to it.
Yeah. So he falls to the floor. He's all fucked up in the face. The shit is the black veins are like everywhere, crisscrossing his face, and
he looks like a zombie.
Yeah, he looks truly transformed. And of course Zack comes in at this point. There's another head splitting because there's goons everywhere.
Yeah,
we get another head splitting during the fight, and then there's this bloody PK off. I put it where they're just going at each other like crazy. It's like a tennis match. And then they end up falling to the floor exhausted. Slovak takes off.
Well, not before he monologues again.
Well, yeah, there's a
lot of monologuing in here.
And then Zack injects himself with Slovak's serum. And then Zack uses psychokinesis long distance to knock Slovak's car off of the road as he's making his getaway. Zack catches up with him for another PK fight. Ultimately, Zack wins, making Slovak explode. It is a pretty intense thing that they're doing, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't make, we just didn't get into the whole thing. And that's it.
Well, I want to mention a couple of things that happen in this scene.
Sure do.
Okay. So when he flips the car, a fire starts. And I was like, ooh, I sense an explosion coming on. But then we get the bit where Zack explodes Slovak. And while he's doing this, there's, I call it 90s tragic hero music.
Yeah.
Going on. This film is a real homage to 90s cinema.
It nailed it.
Absolutely. And I didn't realize how much I just desperately wanted an homage to 90s cinema. I grew up watching 90s cinema. That was my era of, becoming a person, right? I was born in 87. The 90s were my very formative years.
Yes.
And I just really loved it.
I mean, no matter what, when you watch movies from the 90s and then you see something like this, it's a great thing.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some of the top things about this.
Okay.
First off, I want to say anyone who knows horror back to the 80s and even late 70s, that this is directly tied into Scanners.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Scanners was one of the most mind-bending, mind-fuck movies, because these people with mental powers. And here's the thing. None of them made the I need to take a shit face. All of them made the I'm having a stroke face, right? They'd be like, the face would twist sideways and one eye goes squinty and the other one goes big. And then, there was another scanner in that film who every time he was doing something looked like he was just thinking real hard.
Right.
So, we talked about how do you do this without making the I need to take a shit face.
Right.
It's not as bad as it's not any worse than any of these others that Scanners had. Right.
True.
So,
I would like to put forth a contender for a replacement for this kind of thing.
Okay.
Fingers to the temple, slightly narrowed eyes.
Yeah, it's been done.
I know.
And I don't know.
It doesn't really have the same pop. We can workshop it.
Yeah. Because here's the thing with all of these, there's always that like UFO sound kind of thing to let you know that something's happening. We know they can't hear it. It's for our benefit.
In this one, it's more of like a.
Yeah. It reminded me of some of the sounds. What was it? Not The Ring. Was it Dark Water?
Yeah, I think Dark Water.
That kind of sort of like something's happening, but they use that for the otherworldly shit going on.
Right.
Anyway. So yeah, this is just right away. I'm like Scanners, but it did first of all, the premise is kind of the same in terms of the psychokinesis and the mind powers and stuff.
Yeah.
But in Scanners, it was about, I want to be number one. And everyone, it's like Scanners was like Highlander.
Right.
Right. There can be only one. Scanners are looking for each other. They don't know who they are. And when one's found, you find out that one of them's trying to kill them all so he can be like the guy.
The big scanner.
Yeah. This is, Slovak is just suffering from PK envy.
Yep.
That's all it is.
He's just jelly.
Yep. That's just it. So that aside, the cinematography in this was great.
Yeah.
All right. A lot of dark environments. I mean, they did things at
really
night.
Good.
Did things in dark places of the house and stuff.
Really fun lighting.
Yeah, but you never once were left guessing what the fuck is going on. And that is such a big thing. That is such a big thing in low budget films. Even like Studio B movies, you know, when they don't give them the budget, it's like, well, I got to do something. Well, you know, I can either spend it on this that will last like 10 scenes, or I can buy a lighting rig for this one fucking scene. Well, the 10 scenes gets it. So everyone else is watching this movie like, what the fuck's going on? You know? But so they did really good. The sound was good.
Oh yeah. I mean, we didn't have to play it extra loud, but
no. I will say there was an imbalance between the effects and the dialogue.
Sure. I mean, it was a little trite, the dialogue.
Yeah, but it jumped, the effects jumped out.
They were great.
I mean, they were just like volume wise.
Yes.
At least 20 decibels difference between the two. But if you watch it at a normal level, you can still hear the dialogue, which is fine. So it didn't really come down to, crank this up so you can hear everything. It's fine. If you crank it up, the dialogue's going to be really loud, and then the effects are going to just, make your testicles quiver.
Right.
I felt that. So that's, really it. The thing is, this wasn't a high budget movie.
Right.
But again, the people involved used what money they had super intelligently.
Yes.
Right? Cinematic. You have to have good cameras to get that level of quality film. Now, we've talked about what if you only have like a shit camera. Okay, let that go. And if you don't have enough money, if you have the money to buy a new camera and then nothing else, use the shit camera.
Yeah.
Right? Use the 5p whatever.
Yeah.
Or even a VHS camcorder. Because if you spend the money on other stuff, lighting, good audio equipment,
special effects.
Yeah, and if it's a special effects laden film, get the best you can for audio. Budget out your effects first. I think that's number one for something like this, because the movie completely relies on it. And they did a fantastic job. I didn't come away from this laughing and like, oh, that was so funny because it was so cheesy. We laughed because we just love that shit. You get a fucking body ripped in half and super gory heads exploding.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're going to laugh because we're like, awesome. There were a couple moments that could have been edited out.
Yeah, like one or two or four of the monologues. I don't think we needed the same monologue over and over again.
Right. But it's one of those rare instances where it works because it just elevates the cheesiness of this bad guy. Right. And again, it's not the actor's performance that it's bad cheesy. You can tell he's diving into this.
He's a twirly mustache villain.
Yeah, absolutely. He's just textbook.
Yeah.
And the guy nails it. The only acting issues were with some of the periphery people, like the one booth guard.
Sure.
Right. But here's the thing. These aren't people who were hired for their super great acting ability. They were hired to, fill a role that lasts 10 seconds.
Yeah.
On the screen. So you can kind of forgive that. But the actors who played Zack and Rachael, they did a great job. They carried this movie.
Well, they had to.
Well, it was them. Yeah. And they did the job. Mm-hmm. You were never once left wondering who's in charge. Right. And that's good acting. This is an excellent thing to watch for actors, right? Who are developing their thing and stuff. This would be a fun movie to watch and just see, with limited tools. Cause really it's just, look like you're doing mental things. That's what the director said. Okay. Look mental.
You don't think he said, look like you're taking a poopy?
I don't think so.
Okay.
But all the technical stuff was really good. It's just, we could pick apart some more stuff in terms of singling it out, but all the technical stuff was good. So the motion of the cameras was good. So they had the right rigging, or they had the right, whatever they did. If they were doing it handheld, they either had a fucking kick-ass cameraman who can hold his own, or, they had a nice small gimbal rig to keep a steady cam.
Little steady cam.
Right.
Hey.
Yeah.
The soundtrack to this movie?
Yep. I was leaving that for you.
Perfect. Very 90s, very like Casio, Ooh, I miss that. I miss it.
Yeah.
I miss it a lot. I also want to bring up something that is something we haven't yet brought up in an episode.
Sure.
Sci-fi rules of the world that you're creating in your film. There are a lot of indie films, particularly in the sci-fi realm. I mean, there aren't, in comparison to horror movies, for example, there aren't a lot, right? But there is occasionally an issue wherein you're like not staying true to the rules that you have set forth in the film.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And I want to say that this film does 99% stay within the rules and boundaries that they set forth that we're kind of learning as we go. Right? Except at the end where Zack uses his PK to sight unseen flip the car. However, that can be forgiven because he just shot himself up with some of the super stuff.
Right.
Right? But if you must break the rules in your movie, this is the kind of thing that you do with it, is you make it like a really dramatic moment.
Right.
And it has a cost.
Yes.
Right?
Well, I think we need to back up a little bit.
Okay.
Because we didn't actually talk about this element of the movie.
Sure.
So the psychokinesis, to use it on someone, they have to be able to see them. That's why the hoods. That's why there were a lot of we didn't put it in our notes, but there was a lot of questions that came up. Why not this? Why didn't they do that? Why didn't they do this? And as you're watching, you're like, why? Well, then it is actually revealed to us, not by them saying, but there's a pinnacle scene where it all clicks together. And that's when he's trying to save his dad.
Right.
And he can't see the guy.
Yeah.
But he looks in the mirror
and
that's across
it's like the
wall.
TV reflection.
The TV reflection on an old tube TV screen. And it worked.
Yeah.
And you could see that he was like, I don't know.
Right.
But yeah, so all of this, in the secret to the whole psychokinetic thing is the person who's... They have to see the person or the object that they're focusing on. Mm-hmm. That's why in the beginning, Zack was easily knocked out, that he was knocked out by the cop.
Right.
Who came up behind him, right? Because he just had no control over...
Well, and in the scene where Rachel is fighting with the nurse and the goon, she is only able to use her powers after she manages to get the bag off of her head.
Right. She's just all squirrely up till then. Just thrashing and everything. But yeah, then the bag gets worked off. And then right away she goes to work on him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's also established in the movie that like using their powers does have a physical toll on them.
Yes.
Right? They get tired. They can't use them after a certain, like it's not a hard and fast rule of how much they can, but they do, like in the montage stuff, they get pushed to the point where they're like, I just can't, I need to rest.
Well, and it's like in the beginning, they can do this thing and it has a little bit of an effect on them. Mm-hmm. But as it goes on, they try and do more and more and it has bigger effects because you get the whole sense that they're not there yet. They know how to use the power, but they can't like tap it full force.
Yeah.
But we see that in the PK battle between Slovak and Zack, where they're just going balls out and both of them are just like, oh, fuck.
Like their noses start bleeding and
they just hit the ground like noodles.
I mean, it's also illustrated in the effect that taking the injections has on Slovak.
Yeah.
In his nasty ass neck wound.
Yeah.
It's real gross. And it pulses. Ugh.
Yeah. It's disturbing on so many levels.
It is. And that's a real credit to the movie that it is like, it makes me go, ooh.
Oh, yeah. The whole thing about this is decisions. I mean, I guess that's like the theme of the lessons here. You can achieve something like this on a fairly low budget and have these great special effects and have, good actors. Because good actors really, you can have some really great actors. And we've talked about this. A-list actors have been in movies with shit directors. And you're like, I know he's not that bad of a fucking actor. Like, for 30 years he's been in cinema, but holy shit, what happened?
I know.
Because the director is not just do this, do that, do this and that. You got to inspire people, and any actor will tell you, I got to feed off the energy of my fellow actors, right? We got to rule the scene, but we need a director who isn't just go there, stand there, do this, slap him, bend her over, run out the door. Right. They get into it. And if you want like examples of directors in action doing this, I recommend watching the making of Mandalorian.
Oh,
shots.
Yeah.
All these directors,
those are lovely.
They all do this rotation of taking turns directing the different episodes. And like Bryce Howard, right? She is so much like her dad. Ron Howard is an all up in there.
Yeah.
Right. He is a director who is like, what do you fucking need from me? Because I'm going to tell you what I need you to be doing, but you got to tell me what you need from me. Right. And it's collaborative. It's energy, it's believing. I mean, there's the episode of Big Bang Theory where Penny is doing the gorilla movie.
Right.
And Will Wheaton's on that bit. And the director's just like, reading his phone, doing stuff. He's like, action, cut. He's not even looking.
Right.
Don't be that director.
Yeah.
Right. We all get being a director is hard as hell. But if you can't be energized enough to get in there with your actors, even the crew before the shit starts rolling, right? Mm-hmm. Build that energy up. Because when you make something, any piece of art that's worthwhile shows the energy of the artist who created it, whether it's painting, sculpture, film, music, any of this stuff, even books. You can tell, we've talked about certain authors. This book was great because they was a hungry motherfucker. Right. Living in their one room, or not even one room, living in their efficiency, using a communal bathroom down the hall, tired of eating ramen, pumped out this fucking 900-page novel and killed it.
Right.
And they got a $5 million check. And the second book was like, what nightmare was this? Right. They just, because some people will do that. And
this is true.
I'm not going to name drop because I've done it enough. But right now, there are authors who you can read their successive volumes and you're like, I see where the checks started coming. Not in this
where this person stopped caring.
Yeah. It became a business.
Yeah.
Became a business. It's no longer art. It's just like, I can pump out this shit as long as they'll keep paying me for it. Don't be that in filmmaking. Any part that you're in, do what you can to bring something to the set. Feed the people around you, and hopefully they'll feed you back.
It is a field of passion.
Yeah.
Love.
Yeah. And doing that too, because when this is all said and done, everybody goes home. There's one person for sure, the director, who is stuck with all this fucking footage and needs to make it into a movie. May or may not have an editor or two to help.
Right.
May or may not have someone to help score it. Right. You've got anywhere from 1 to, I would say in these small films, I don't think there's a dozen people doing post. Mm-hmm. Right. We know David.
David does all his own posts.
David is like a one-man show, so yeah, folks, go back and listen to our interviews with David, Ryan, Keith.
Yeah.
And just
Anton.
Oh, Anton, especially. Yeah. Our first interview, which is the bonus episode.
Anton Duiron.
He'll talk about it, but we've also talked to Hilton and all these other people, right? As you get moving along in these things, you can get a crew to help you. Yeah. But for the most part, indie filmmakers, and even Studio B movies, they don't have enough money for post and they got to do it themselves and be good at it. If they're working with something that has just loaded with energy.
Oh, right, yeah.
It's going to take some of the monotony.
Easier.
Well, right. it gets you through those 18-hour days. Yes. You know, Silas Dahl, another one. You know, he's talking about, you know, I was so excited about it. And it just, next thing you know, it's like, if I don't go to sleep, I'm not going to survive. I've been at this for 16, 18 hours. But there's so much energy that the fatigue gets washed away and the energy propels you forward.
I mean, that's how we've gotten through like 16-hour writing fests.
Yes.
You know,
because
we're just amped.
Yeah. You know, and
high on creativity.
And it's funny because after that, for weeks, that carries over.
Oh, yeah.
We're excited about what we did at any point, even like if we have
and what's coming up.
And what's coming, or when we finished.
Yeah.
That's a high tide to ride, right?
Yeah.
When you're like, oh, yeah. But during the process, the energy doing it keeps us propelled in the in-between times. And we're thinking and we're working and we're doing this. We're like, what's coming up next? Da, 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 you know, oh, maybe if we did this and that, you know, okay, we'll try it and stuff, but we just can't wait. And then whoosh, we get in there and we're like, yeah, I'm plowing this fucking field. I will have corn by the end of the night. You know, that's the secret to making good films.
Yeah, I think this movie, The Mind's Eye, is definitely a labor of love.
Absolutely. You know, listeners, see this movie. It's on Tubi.
Yeah.
And enjoy it. And see these things we're talking about. See you can just feel everyone's trying to get this thing done, and they're excited about getting it done and what they're doing and stuff. Yeah. You know, look at the effects, look at how well things are shot, and there's one point.
Reminisce about the 90s a little bit.
There's one point you pointed out towards the end battle, the harness.
What?
When
when he's lifting Slovak, you can see the rig.
Yeah, you can see the rig.
It's okay. Shh.
You know what?
It doesn't bother me.
It didn't detract. I didn't say anything. You brought it up.
I was like, look at the rig.
Like, I know. And you kind of let it go. But you also look at like movies like Indiana Jones, which is wrought with fucking issues.
Oh,
like
for
that,
sure.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, not everyone can catch it, even when you have a couple $1 million to throw at post.
Well, I mean, yeah. I also think that you and I are more apt to spot those things than the average person.
Yeah, average people don't catch on to a lot of this, but cinephiles and movie makers and anyone involved with it we all seem to watch with a different eye.
Like, whoop, there's a goof.
Yeah. But you let it go. And there's been a few in the past where we've talked about, which is like Unforgivable.
Oh, yeah.
I don't care how much or how little money you've got. There's just, this was like a no effort made shot.
Yeah. When you're hitting your actor's head with your boom. And you leave that shot up. That ain't cool.
Well, if you can't tell that the boom mic is casting a shadow over 3 of your fucking actors for this whole 8-minute scene, because it's an easily fixed thing. It's so easily fixed. And it's just like, I don't know how earnest you were about this.
I love the Ed Wood wobbly walls.
Oh yeah, the cardboard fucking sets.
Man.
And
I love that.
And his use of curtains.
Yes.
Almost every technological environment.
Curtains everywhere.
Curtains everywhere. It's just like, I don't know how to make technology walls.
Just curtains.
Let's just
throw
get
up some curtains.
Let's get some bzz things to put 2 or 3 like in the middle of the room, and then curtains.
Curtains everywhere.
Curtains everywhere.
Yeah.
And then,
hey, that's a cost-effective method.
It's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is. You make your world, lean into it.
Sure.
This is what you got. But this is yet another example of the many films that we've watched and covered on this show of smartly dividing up your money, prioritizing where it goes, and
this was an intelligently made film.
Yeah, really well put together. And the story, other than, some of the monologue, maybe could have been just...
Listen, it didn't matter how many times I heard it. Every time he started talking, and I was like, ooh, here comes another monologue. I was up for it.
It's the character.
Yeah.
It really, I mean,
it fit him well.
The actor is just so good at this because you do actually, it's like, oh, another monologue, but I'm glad he's talking again. Because in between all these, he's not a really talkative character.
Not particularly.
He's
he'll
very
have a conversation grunty here. And he'll shout something and then he's done.
He's barking orders at his minions.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll have a little conversation here, a little conversation there. And, but yeah, when he bursts into these things, and he's not just talking.
No.
He's emoting.
Oh, yeah.
From toes to fingers to ear tips to the crown of his head. He is in it to win it. And I love it. Yeah. It sells. It's sold. This is, if you're writing an evil character, take a look at this and consider it in terms of like a personality type.
We're starting a Dr. Michael Slovak fan club. Just write us if you want to join.
We could.
I know.
Dr. Slovak is a wonderfully done bad guy. He really is, right? Zack and Rachael did a fantastic job. Even Chess Dude. Right?
Oh, yeah.
For being...
Chess Lad.
Yeah, for being a super peripheral character. I mean, he kind of brought it. And Cyclops did a fantastic job of like henchman number one.
Yeah, he had maybe like 3 full lines throughout the whole movie, but the rest of it, he was just sitting there looking cool.
Well, yeah, and, kicking ass and taking names, right? So I think that, unless you have anything, I think that covers the lessons to take away from this.
Does it?
It is a fun watch.
Yeah, highly recommend.
And it will inspire you in some of these ways to, really focus and stuff, whether writing, directing, whatever.
Yeah. And if you need like a 90s homage fix, this is where you got to go.
This is going to do it.
Yeah. Scratches that itch.
Well, B-siders, you can reach out to us if you want to contemplate about this by going to our website,
www.lordsofmisruleproductions.com,
where everything exists, including, because we mentioned this last time, and it has happened. It has been birthed. B.F. McGillicuddy lives.
Yes.
On the Lords of Misrule Productions website. He has his own page. As of this moment, the first 3 episodes are embedded. Our social media links now, instead of going to the YouTube channel for the podcast, if you click on the YouTube link, because you can only put one YouTube link on this, the way this is designed, it will go to BF McGillicuddy now. All our other social media links go to
you can still find our YouTube if you just search Bravo for the B-side on YouTube.
Right. Well, actually, if you go to BF McGillicuddy, Bravo for the B-side and Lords of Misrule Productions are on the favorite channels section under the main page. So I've tied them all together. And same thing, if you go to Bravo for the B-side, there you go. You can get a link to BF McGillicuddy's page. Not a whole lot going on the Lords of Misrule Productions page, because
we're doing this podcast.
We have our 2 project pages. More BF McGillicuddy will be coming starting next week. Going to be working on that to do it weekly. And
you are ambitious, sir.
Yeah. Also, just coming up, a couple things.
Yeah. So got an email this week from Facebook saying that you can add your RSS feed for podcast to your podcast page. So guess what, friends?
Yeah.
You can listen to our podcast directly from our Facebook page.
Bravo for the B-Side Facebook page. Bam. They're all there now, too.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. Now I got to figure out if it's actually going to show on our stats.
Well,
it's supposed to, and all I get all that, but I'm telling you, some things don't work the way they're supposed to. I've been finding,
and it's new.
Yeah, because we're getting tens of thousands of MP3 media plays on the page.
Really?
But they don't. Yeah, we get.
Are you telling me more than like a dozen people listen to us?
Weirdly, or at least people are finding us on a monthly basis. We are, so the website that Lords of Misrule Productions gets, we're averaging now 17,000 unique visitors a month.
Cool.
With 28,000 views. And we're just gigabytes and gigabytes of things. And we're getting hundreds and hundreds of more than an hour.
Wow.
Data streams off of it, but it doesn't show up on the stats in those numbers. So anyway, not all of it's, related to the one thing, but anyway. So yeah, we're on Facebook also, coming soon. Coming soon.
A new podcast.
This
one is a Jim and Lily production.
Yep. Sans Danny.
Yeah. I'm not.
Maybe that's what we should just call it.
Yeah.
Sans Danny, Jim and Lily.
I don't think that appropriately captures what you guys will be talking about.
Nope. It's daughter and father. We don't have a name for it yet.
Lily's got to come up with a name.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is, Lily is going to watch shows that Danny and I have watched as kids and stuff.
Classic television.
So like she grew up, already she knows about, the Lucy.
I Love Lucy.
Yeah, I Love Lucy, the Lucille Ball show, Dick Van Dyke show.
Mary Tyler Moore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And some others, Petticoat Junction.
Yeah.
Green Acres, all this stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to, pick a particular show. Like we're probably going to start with I Love Lucy because she just loves Lucy. And I'm going to talk a little bit about how it was for me. And then we're just going to turn her loose on her views of it. And she's going to love I Love Lucy. But I know there's some stuff that I've seen.
She's not going to be a fan of.
She's going to be like, what in the hell? How is this good?
Well, we were telling her about the old Tootsie Pop commercials.
Oh, yeah. Just tonight.
A 1, a 2, a
3. Crunch.
Right.
Right.
And she was just dying. She was like, that's so stupid. And we were like, yeah, we know. She was just cracking up.
Yeah. So, we're going to be doing a weekly, much shorter podcast. But yeah, it's going to be, dad and daughter take on television.
Yeah.
Because I think she has some excellent views. Because I'm not going to spoil anything, but there's been a couple of shows that she's watched.
You have an extremely opinionated kid.
She just has some fantastic ways of putting things.
She really does.
Which, just cracked us up. And she's eager to do this. So that will be coming soon.
Mm-hmm. And she also, I think, might be appearing in more future episodes. Not every episode, but more than previously.
Well, as BF McGillicuddy takes off, folks, get some views, subscribe to the channel, like the things, share it, just like the podcast, subscribe, share, like, review, or rate rather. Because that's more important than reviewing. But, the whole point is we want to evolve BF McGillicuddy to the point where we go out of house. If it gets big enough, we'll take BF McGillicuddy out of the green screen and into the real world. And I think that will be even more fun that way, she's going to make some guest appearances on there as various things that we're going to work out. So, a lot of stuff going. And, we hope you.
Well, she wants to be more involved in what we're doing creatively.
Well, yeah, she's at that age now, finally.
Yeah.
It's just not weird mom and dad.
Maybe you should make some BF McGillicuddy merch for the merch store.
Probably.
Yeah.
Might be some issues with that though.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. I don't think we're ever going to get merch.
Good point.
Not character photos, but maybe some quotes and some stuff, you know. I don't know. Watch the videos, folks, and you'll understand why. You can only go so far before things happen. Anyway, all of our links are on their platforms, social media stuff. Send us emails. You know the deal. Our merch store, Robert for the B-side stuff. Go get some. Our Patreon link, and yeah, that I think covers it.
Yeah, I do want to say,
sure,
before we leave, before we leave our chairs and walk out of this little teeny tiny den of a recording studio, that hey, our business, the business of being a creative person, and just kind of like the business of life in general, and with all the shit going on in the world today, like, it's hard. And there are some people going through really hard times right now in a lot of various and different and crazy ways that may or may not have anything to do with the current pandemic. Like, but I think after this week, I just want people to know, like, you're not alone. Whatever it is you're going through, there are other people going through similar things. And, you know, if you need the support, like, go and reach out, because there's people out there.
Yeah. Yeah. We're not saying, hey, you're not alone. You're not the only one going through this. Buck up.
Right.
There are people who are going through it or who have gone through it. And there are people who are more than happy to listen and try and help. There are people who are at the same level as you. And I think it would do well for, you know, you folks to get together and just share experiences, just for that communal feeling.
Yeah.
Right. When you can't get answers, it's nice to know that you're not the only one who doesn't have answers.
Yeah.
Right.
This is true.
Let's never forget that, because it's not just like the world of creatives. It's, you know, everybody.
Yeah.
But as creatives, the history of creatives is fraught with people going through some big things, alone.
Well, I don't think there's any other business. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I don't think there's any other, like, business where literally your job is, like, exposing your soul.
I've never heard of an accountant so into his you know, indexing journals that he cut off his ear.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Creatives are passionate people, and passionate people can go off the rails. It's just that simple. Right. We all do in certain ways at all times where something's going on. But let's just recognize there are people, creative or not, that are going through some real shit right now.
Yeah. And
you know what? Let's just be human. Be human. And if you're listening and you're going through shit, there's a million places to go look. And if you just can't be bothered to try and sort it all out, because sometimes that shit's just, you know, it's too much for us to figure out where the fucking maple is.
Yeah.
Right? There's 2 email links on our webpage.
Reach out.
You know what? Because we'll listen, we'll chat, and we can certainly point you in directions where you need to be going. You know,
I mean, I don't mean, at the very least, therapy wise, say, but
we can give you the phone numbers and the emails, and we can just listen.
Yeah.
And identify with, you know, what's happening.
Sympathize.
Yeah. And then go from there. Right. Yeah. I encourage every creative listening to this to reach out in your own way, whether you've got a podcast, whether you've got a website, whether you do it on your films, put it on a fucking card at the end of your YouTube video. Put a mention at the beginning or end of your film, feature or short, right? Let's just maybe stop waiting for the fucking politicians and everything to get their acts together, no matter what group they're from. How about we just start acting like humans to one another? And let's unite that way, because that's the biggest issue.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that's our PSA for today.
Yeah.
You know, whether or not you think what you've done is great or shit. You did something and people acknowledge it, and you're in a big world full of tons of people in your tribe, right? Everyone has a tribe, no matter how lonely you think or how isolated you think you are. You have a tribe.
Yeah, there are people out there for you.
Yep. All right.
Well.
With that, that's going to do it for this week.
Yeah.
See the mind's eye. And just, have fun with it. Shit. Have fun with it.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and reach out, see if we can get some of these folks on, because it's just fun.
That'd be fun.
And all right. So until next week, B-siders. This is Jim.
And this is Danny.
And we wish you the best, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye.